Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today, great evening. I've been really not wanting to do any more videos. I think I'll probably just start and then I'll just spend 20 minutes just talking to you guys about anything. Um, well, mm, there's a lot of things going on right now, and actually, things are really looking up. So, that's a promising thing that we can all share because everything's working the way it's supposed to, and it feels like things are all right. So the uh, the energy, the the people, the good feeling of just everything really is it's heading in the right direction. There are lots of requests, and these requests are quite interesting, really. And you have to leave it for those that are in charge to take the right actions for the things that they want to do, because um, you are in power, right? And there are a lot of things that you have the authority to kind of put in motion as a group, as a species, as a planet. And it starts with very small choices of the things that we do every day that makes things become better, and they elevate a lot of the human experience, and then things move along, right? So you're basically shuffling through all these emotions, and you're looking at how to come together, but it's nothing more than just an opposition of thoughts and ideas that converge at a mutual interest, right? And the mutual interest can vary. And usually, when the interest is resolved or met permanently, then each group of individuals just they go their own way, or they keep the balance in a way that it's been that it's been set for. So I believe that a lot of your interests are for the immediate control of the right now, 10, 20 years from now, and preferably I think the other party would accept the same, but a movement in the right direction, or a firm step where you can't go back from, that you're obviously heading in this direction and it's the right direction. So with all the fail safes and all the things that you can accomplish as a unit, then we are um, we're sure to be right and correct. I just feel prompted to say these things. I feel prompted to generate a video because there's lots of things that need to be taken care of, and it's getting there. And there's a pause. There's a just like a moment where you hang in the balance, and you're just in free fall. You're you're falling, and you just don't know when it's gonna stop, or when we're gonna hit a point where it'll all just converge, and then you can say, oh well, let's go in this direction. or let's do, now that we know we have this secured for sure, then you're going to execute the move of your the next place where you want to go as a unit and as a whole. And then that just applies for like for even myself when I have errands and things to do. How do you organize it so that it works out for your betterment? And then how you are making sure that there aren't any world hunger, if that's your thing, or that you're not or that your community is safe, or there's a dam that's going to be built and your that section of your community could be affected, and how do you all come together to avoid it, block it, or maybe put um, a restriction so that you can have a flourishing society for everybody. And a lot of them want stalemate. A lot of them are saying just, and a stalemate is nothing more than a stalemate is nothing more than a power grab where there hasn't been a transfer of power. So that's what a stalemate is. And do you want a stalemate in any situation, or do you want to actually complete the action that needs to be taken so that you can have what you know is right for everybody? And I think that's where we stand. So just hang in there. I mean, a lot of people are gonna take this message and just gonna be amped up, and I'm doing the right thing, and I'm gonna go get it. I'm going for it. But there's times where you just need to wait and relax, and then you wait for the gazelle to come to you, right? And it's not necessarily the time when that's going to be happening at the moment. It's not going to be the um, it's not the right time. The It's coming closer, but it's not the right time to you know capture the gazelle at the moment. That still isn't a possibility. So let's just change the tune here for a second, and you know vote in your community in the right way. Um, Present yourself so that your voice is heard, and even if it's something that isn't going to go in your favor, you know that at least you voiced what you wanted to voice, because that's important. It's an important thing to do. And even now, I mean, I don't really think I should be making this video. Turns out like it's the first one, because sometimes I need to try 3 or 4 times. Some things aren't just coming out right. But the moment I stepped through that door and I sat down, I said, I gotta do this, because it moves things forward, and just voicing the things that you're concerned of, and the things that worry you, the things that you need to get off your chest, it is very important, um, because we are in an ascension process. An ascension process is really just getting rid of all that baggage, right? So basically, let me just say that again. You're getting rid of all the baggage. You're getting rid of all the baggage. And then still, everything looks the same, but I'm going to do a little drawing and just illustrate here. Um, right, as the dimension starts to clear up, you're going to just feel a drag, right? You're going to feel this drag because the dimensions are clearing up. And it's as simple as just letting out your frustration, right? Talking to someone about what's going on, and voicing what you think needs to be voiced. For me, a very simple and unassuming individual, if I have a problem where there's an accommodation that can be met in any situation, and I voice that concern, then I'm releasing that so that it can be either addressed or not addressed, but still you're putting that outside of you, right? You want an energy shift. And at times you get an opportunity, maybe you're moving across country, and you're finding yourself that this is where you need to be for your growth, and you would make the step to go there. And um, for people that have to make choices that affect every single person on this planet, or your country of origin, or your decision makers in your community, those are just their place to be to make those choices. And they're the ones that have been chosen, right, to make the choice to be the person that's going to listen to the community and then do the right thing for themselves. And it's going to be right for one person, and it isn't going to be right for the other party. Right, one party is going to be felt satisfied, another the other party isn't going to feel as vindicated in that decision. And I think that's an important thing to it's an important thing to consider where we are, and then how we're going to do that, how we're moving in the direction where you can release this. So you should be happy if you're someone that just does their 9 to 5, barely has to make a choice, but make the choice. And then our elected officials have to make even harder choices for the rest of us. And that's a pressure I really wouldn't want on anybody. And it's not because of this administration. It's just gonna be like this going forward. You know what? So there's ASEAN, and I want to call her Mara. It's a Spanish name, Maura. So we had this kind of channeling with Mara, ASEAN, ASEAN, ASEAN. I don't know, ASEAN. I remember I had a I talked to ASEAN in October 2020, I think, or 2021, and his phrase was, "It takes one to know one." And he showed me his better half, and we were talking. We're having a conversation. Do you want to come down and incarnate on Earth? And he said, just no, it's fine. He says there are a lot of Lyrans here on this planet. Specifically, there's a lineage of Lyran on the planet, and there's uh, a seed that's been planted for Lyra here as well. And the way that he explained it was that if you're if you're from Africa and you land in the Caribbean, in the Dominican Republic or Cuba or Puerto Rico or any of these islands there, then you just become indigenous to the island, and you can say from the Caribbean, even if my ancestors were from Africa or Spanish or Portuguese or British or anything like that. You unite within that one banner of a Caribbean country where you happen to be. Then you can either say you can't say you're from Spain anymore, neither can you say you're from Africa. Now you're just from here, right? Even if you have these genetics here involved, because now you've created a mixture of different genetics to make your unique imprint on this island now that it's your nation state, right? So that's what Ashiyan was kind of saying. He says, "Well, I'm not really lying because I've lived here for so long." I asked him if he wanted to suit up and come down here and you know fight the good fight. He's just like, "No, that's just not me." So Mara came around a few days ago, and she was explaining a little more. And the way that I saw these individuals was I saw Ashian first, and we're talking and talking and talking. And he said his favorite catchphrase that I still remember. One of the things he said was, he said, "It takes one to know one." Right? It takes one to know one. And then a circle opened where I could see that Mara, she was in a garden, and she was like gardening somewhere. You can tell she was inside the spaceship, but she was gardening inside the spaceship. And the portal opened, and she looked at the portal, and I looked back at her. Right? We looked back at her like this, and then excuse me, we saw each other. Right? We caught a glimpse of each other. He's like, oh, like it automatically opens up a portal of this person that's like connected to you permanently. And it feels like it's something you constantly have to block out so no one knows, right? Because you but he showed me her because he says it takes one to know one, which is interesting that we're having this conversation again. And she was the one that did a little explaining of the Lyran heritage and lineage, because what happened in Lyra was that you left the planet as it was um, being attacked by the reptilians, and uh, there wasn't that kind of connection that we would know about, because we were in the 12th dimension, sorta, kinda, and that made we all felt the same. There wasn't that uniqueness that we have here on the planet. Okay, so so leaving, we're all in the same, you know, we're all surrounded in the same, we're all equals and better, we were all equal then, so it wasn't difficult for that to go unnoticed in that way, right? To this day there's still Lyrans that are not incarnated on the planet, but they are um, very much out there, just kind of guiding the Lyran society that's still here on this planet, and many other planets, right? And there's a taking care of that lineage, even if even if you landed somewhere else. As I gave my example of the whole Africa, Caribbean kind of thing, or whatever, British, U.S., Irish. Um, there's a looking out after for this, because that planet was eventually destroyed. But when we took the war to Vega, then that's just, it's a whole. You can write a book about that. It's fun. I don't know anything about it as much as I want to, but I know it was epic. So a lot of Lyrans left. They went to the Pleiades. They went out to Andromeda, Arcturian, and when they look back, they see they're just you are our ancestors, but we're not really you anymore. We're different now, because the way the planet goes around the sun on that specific um, solar in that specific part of the universe where the spin of the planet is a little different, different daylight cycles and different sort of atmosphere and scenario, it changes the DNA, so you can then become adapted to that planet. And the closest I think are the Pleiades that look like us in that regard. But Andromedans look different based on the planet where they landed and how they adapted. So they're Andromedans now, based on the sun that's there for them. But there's plenty of planets there that are not called Andromeda, but are different. There are different civilizations and societies that live within the Andromeda sun or within that vicinity. But they're Andromedan because live in Andromeda, right? They live around that sun. That's part of their the sun that they evolved around. So you gotta start removing the baggage. You just gotta start. You have to start to clear away a lot of the of these things, and they're minor things. They're inconveniences. There could be an outburst of how people express their disregard because they're not happy, and they're not going to put up with a lot of things. So they express this discontent, this um, they express this feeling of uh, uncomfortable uh, weight is holding them down in various ways that you might think that something's wrong, something's not right. So that needs to be released, and you start releasing, and then you start feeling better. Like right now, there's this heavy fog that everyone is under a spell of the uncertainty of the whatever's brewing that's just about to come out and reveal itself in a way that's just going to shock you, right? And some individuals are going to just live this scenario where usually you fabricate things in situations where it's going to be some kind of cliffhanger, like a two-part episode of your favorite TV series, where you're just like, okay, there's going to be a part two, right? That kind of excitement behind it, and it's going to brew up, and then you're not going to be interested in these things as much. You're going to start lifting up, and you're going to start seeing a little better. Sometimes people would say at New Year's, they'll say, wow, last year was just flying, wasn't it? It's just all of a sudden it's already, January 2025. What did we do last year? Well, you were still stuck in the matrix last year. So for you, it's a big deal. For me, I've accomplished and gone and done things to further myself as the years go by, right? Instead of just sitting idle, waiting for things to happen without me having any apparent control over it. So, this is the video that I didn't want to make, the video that lasted like 20 minutes, really. But it's just my way of letting out, but I'm not putting myself on you. I am expressing it in a way that just reveals what you need to do, and whoever it you feel the connection with something you might want to try, great. And there's people who are gonna look at this and they're gonna say, "Oh, this guy again." So I hope you guys enjoy it. I can't wait for the next couple of years of just how much things are gonna be so much better, and it'll just simply apparently seem for everyone else like nothing's happened, but we are ascending. We're going there. It's happening. And the way that we have these synchronicities that are going to match up with our lives, it's the proof that we're heading in the right direction for as a group that's ascending, instead of just thinking about stuff as happenstance or coincidences, etc., etc., etc. So, hope you guys have a good rest of the evening. Thinking of what I should title the video. I gotta start making a list of things that I need to title videos with, because it's getting a little repetitive. And I realize that some of the names are starting to get a little. I need to spend 5 good hours on a Sunday afternoon just looking through things and sorting it out, and at least have a little uh, control over it. I thought of just putting the date of today, and then that'll make it, I don't know, the slightest bit um, linear, right? So that I know which is which, and that way I'm not looking through to think last week, what was last week's video. Obviously, I could probably find it, but I wouldn't know just by the name. I would probably know better if I dated it and put some put something on there to help myself out. So I don't want to hold you off too long. I really like letting you guys know, and also receiving the kind of energy from you that resonates well enough. And if you don't resonate, then is this just isn't for you. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the evening, and have a good rest of the evening, and I'll see you next time.